glad you're able to join us today for this presentation. I hope you are well. And just a few little words before I introduce our guest from Premier World Discovery. This is being recorded, so if for some reason you've forgotten something that Tracy has said, I will send you out a link more than likely tomorrow that you can view it again if you like to. Also, too, if you could remain muted, sounds pick up really easily on the computers. So being muted is the best course of action. All right, and once Tracy finishes with questions and answers after her presentation, then we'll go around the room and have everyone introduce themselves and say what they're looking forward to, kind of say what your connection is with Michigan State. That way you can get to know one another a little bit more before the trip. And then also too, we have our Bright Crowd page, directory, online directory, that I think most of you have joined on that, and you can learn about your fellow travelers. So next, I'd like to introduce Tracy from Premier World Discovery. She is a business development manager with them. I've been working with her since 2022. She's fantastic. She's just incredible, and you'll see that once she begins speaking. So go ahead and take it away, Tracy.
Thank you, Regina. That was a nice welcome. I appreciate that. And I'm wearing my green for you all so I can represent, right? So my name is Tracy Shank. I'm coming to you live from Livonia, Michigan, actually, and really, really honored to be a part of this program and excited to share this information with you. What I am going to ask is that you take your packets, your final document packets, and kind of pull everything out. We're going to go through the information inside there page by page and just make sure that we get everything kind of covered. And if you think of any questions, there's a chat, or if you want to just write them down, we can make sure at the end of the meeting to get those questions answered. And those members that couldn't be here today, those alumni that just couldn't make the meeting, were recorded, so we will have the opportunity to share this with them, at a later time, the link so that they can watch. So let's get started. So the Black Hills Badlands and Mount Rushmore trip is departing August 26th. And I have to tell you, I was telling Regina this, this is probably one of my most favorite places to go in the US. This trip entails so many wonderful things. I actually was here on this trip in, I think early June. I think it was there end of May or early June time. And I've been multiple times, and it's one of these places that I feel like every day is a new adventure, and there's so many wonderful things, and it is such an all-American patriotic place to visit. Matter of fact, when I went there the last 2 times ago, I'm like, I want to retire here. I love it. I love it. So it's really great. So we're going to walk through this trip with you. Here is, of course, again, your final packet of information. Pull those things out, and I'm going to discuss them with you so that you kind of know what everything is and what you need to do with it. And I'll make this as easy as possible for you. So at the end of this, it'll all make sense. So let's first start with, there is a document in there, like a folder. It's probably toward the back, and it says important travel information and helpful hints. So I want to look at this document first, open it up, and then we'll walk through each paragraph in this document and make sure that this is kind of all the nitty-gritty stuff that we want to go through. And if you open the folder on the inside, there is around the front, it should say welcome traveler and a little welcome from the owners. And then the very first paragraph is photo identification. So what you need to do is make sure that you have that real ID. If you don't have a real ID, of course, you can use a passport too, but they do require the star and the emblem of Michigan, or at least just the star for the real ID. That deadline was next year. So a good piece of advice would be also to make a copy of it. Take a picture of it with your phone, front and back, or a photocopy, just so that you have that extra copy with you. The very next paragraph after that talks about, I think it's the airline seat assignments, which we'll talk about in a minute. But what I'd like you to do, there's a light blue document inside your packet, light blue document. I want you to open up that light blue document. This is your air confirmation or e-ticket information. There are, as you know, there are no more airline tickets, like paper tickets. So this is just a confirmation for you. What I would like you to do is go to the very bottom. Your name is highlighted and make sure it is spelled correctly. Make sure we didn't make any mistakes. This is exactly how your airline ticket will look. So we want to make sure if there's any problems or issues at the end of the meeting, please let me know so we can make that, fix that mistake. Okay. Make sure it matches. And then also with this ticket information, up in the top right corner is something called a booking reference number. The booking reference number is like your confirmation number. So if you go onto the airline to look up your flights, you can use that booking reference number or confirmation number with the airline. And it usually asks you for a confirmation number and your last name, and then you can look up your reservation. So as we get forward, and I'll explain more of that to you. So, keep this in your packet. And then let's talk about airline seat assignments. This is a little bit tricky. Because you are flying United, United is certainly, I think most everyone's flying United. I do have all the flights listed and I'll go through them. But if you are mainly on United, they are a little bit tricky for groups with seat assignments. You may or may not even have seat assignments yet. And as we get closer, you can keep trying to get them. But a lot of times with United, you have to wait until you show up at the airport to get your seats assigned. Or you can log in and try to purchase seats. This is a new thing that all the airlines are doing, where if you want to guarantee your seats, you can purchase it, or you can wait till the day of. So my recommendation would be to go on United and the website for the airline, put in the confirmation number and your name, and then try to look at the seats, maybe select seats. And I apologize, this is a new rule with all the airlines. It's quite frustrating because in the past we could do all the seating. So certainly, again, it's kind of out of our control, but make sure that you take a look at that and see if you can change that. So let's talk a little bit about the flights and going forward for the trip. So with United Airlines, there is a credit card if you have it. I know there are no non-stop flights to Rapid City, none. And Delta, unfortunately, is not a carrier into that city. They do not have the schedules we need, but United does a great job with this flight schedule. Matter of fact, this is who I flew when I just recently went. I think I was on your same flight schedule. So with United, if you have the Mileage Plus program, you are absolutely welcome to get the miles. If you'd like to download the app to your phone, it is certainly helpful because sometimes with the app, it'll say, welcome to Rapid City. Your bags are at Carousel 5, or your gate has changed. It's now at 12 instead of, 20 or whatever. So the app is not a bad idea. If you're not comfortable downloading an app or you don't want to, that's okay. You're welcome to go on United's website and look at the reservation. We must have some people flying American. So same applies here with American Airlines. Same thing. They have an app. You can go on your to your confirmation. You can go into the airlines. Usually, if you log into the airlines, you're looking for something that says my trips or trips, something like that. If you click on that, that's when it'll ask you for the confirmation number and your last name. Okay, so when you go into you might want to go on your computer and just look up the website and do it. I like using my computer because the screen is bigger. The phone is always really small and kind of hard to maneuver. So I do look at the computer and log in. So here is our first flights out of Detroit. And I'm going to just kind of walk through this with you a little bit, the flight schedule out of Detroit. You have, and again, this is exactly the flight schedule I had. So I can walk you through this. If you haven't been to Detroit Metro in a while, the Evans terminal is where you will be dropped off. If somebody is actually driving you to the airport, I'm going to suggest that you have them drop you off at door number 3. Right when you walk inside, you'll find United Airlines. And I know this like the back of my, in my brain, I'd go to the airport a lot. So door number 3 is United. And again, you do not have to check in 24 hours in advance with United. You can if you'd like to, but you don't have to. So don't feel obligated. Oh my goodness, I better get checked in. You certainly can, or you can wait till you get to the airport. You are departing Detroit at 9:06 a.m. My suggestion to you is give yourself 2 hours. I know that sounds like a lot, but I promise you, if you get to the airport with 2 hours to spare, if there's a big line in security or if you get held up for any reason, you'll be relieved that I gave you that suggestion. So really try to get there by 7 a.m. That would just be the best advice I can give you. If you're parking off-site and bringing a shuttle over, same, you'll come kind of walking up the escalator and into the terminal area. United Airlines, if you're looking at all the gates in front of you, is kind of to the left a little bit. It's towards the left, okay? So you're going to fly Detroit at 9:06 a.m. and then you're going to land in Denver at 10:18 a.m. And it is not a 1 hour flight. You got 2 hour time difference there. So you'll arrive in Denver at 10:18. And my biggest advice to you is to get to the next gate. Don't stop and eat. Don't stop unless you have to use a restroom. But if you don't grab a bite to eat or a coffee, get to the gate first. Go to the next gate, find your gate, then grab a bite to eat, maybe grab a coffee, that type of thing, and kind of plant your roots there because you only have an hour. And an hour, although it doesn't sound like a long time, is plenty of time. It probably takes you 15 minutes to get from one terminal to the other or, through the airport, 10, 15 minutes. But just get to that next gate, your flight to Rapid City, and then you're going to depart at 11:15. So really, if you back that up, probably they're going to start loading that plane around 10:45. So you want to get off your first flight, get to your next gate and be ready to board, and you'll have time to grab a snack or anything like that, okay? When you arrive in Rapid City at 12:24, and remember, there's a 2 hour time, I think it's 2 hour time difference there. Definitely go to the baggage area. It is a tiny little airport, so easy and beautiful. So get off the plane, go to the baggage area, and there'll be your tour director with a sign waiting for you. Okay, he will be looking for you and waiting for you. On the return flight on the 1st of September, which is crazy. That's this trip's going into September. You're going to fly Rapid City at 1:30, and I can promise you're going to get to that airport probably an hour and a half before because it's a tiny airport. He'll probably get you there by noon. So the good news for that is you have that morning kind of at your leisure. So you'll depart Rapid City at 1:30. You're going to connect through Chicago O'Hare. And in Chicago, again, you're going to change flights. So you'll need to, get off the plane and then get to your next gate. And then you'll arrive in Chicago or depart Chicago at 5:59 and back home at 8:29. So that's that flight schedule out of Detroit. The next flight schedule we have is Cleveland. So welcome, Cleveland. You have kind of a mixture of airlines there. So you're flying Cleveland at 9 a.m., connecting through Denver on that kind of the same flight schedule there. That's when you join up with everybody from Detroit. And same advice. Get to your airport 2 hours. I promise you, you really want that extra time to have it. Same, if you're parking off-site, remember you got to take a shuttle to get to the airport and then find your ticket counter. And then same for you. You'll arrive in Rapid City, meet your tour guide, and then they'll take you from there. On your return, you're on American Airlines. So on American Airlines, you depart Rapid City at 12:20, connecting through O'Hare on that same flight. And then you have O'Hare to Cleveland at 5:29 to 8:02. So nice, easy schedules and should run pretty smooth. We also have some people going from Chicago O'Hare. So welcome, Chicago. We have a lot of different cities, Regina. This is exciting. So our O'Hare travelers are nonstop and American and United. And when they split the airlines like that, there's a reason. Our goal is to give you the best time schedule and the best, with the best schedule we can find. So if they ever do that with airlines, it's for that purpose. So just be aware of that. For Chicago O'Hare, you're departing at 9:43, nonstop to Rapid City. So they do have a nonstop flight, which is great on American. And with Chicago, I lived in Chicago. I've been to O'Hare a zillion times. Same thing, allow ample time to get to the airport and don't stretch the clock. On your return, you're on United, 1:31 departure back at O'Hare at 4:55. So that's our Chicago O'Hare travelers. Here's a couple reminders about luggage fees, since people always ask. With United, so I'll talk about baggage in the next segment, but I will tell you, you all get one checked suitcase for the trip. We allow 50 pounds maximum, so a nice big suitcase, 62 linear inch big suitcase is fine with us. And then United, all the airline fees just went up. So United is $50 per bag each way, and you pay that obviously when you check in, and that's just each way, coming and going per bag. So be aware you cannot use cash. You have to use a credit card. So you can pay for that at on United when you check in. You might be able to do that 24 hours in advance. So again, when you're checking in with these different airlines, certainly check 24 hours in advance and see if you're able to. Group tickets are a little different, so they get a little funny, but because there's just we have different cities, you might be able to do that. So certainly try if you want to check in 24 hours in advance to do that. American Airlines, same rule, 50 pounds, $50 each way, paid by credit card in the same size bag. So we'll talk about luggage in a minute. So let's go into our luggage discussion. This is always a big one for travelers. So we welcome one checked bag, one carry-on bag, and a personal item. So you get 3 things. So let's talk about that checked luggage. With the checked luggage, you'll check it at your city, your home city, and it will meet you in Rapid City. So you don't have to worry about seeing your bag until you get there. Also with your checked luggage, any liquids over 3.2 ounces, for example, sunscreen is a big one, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, shaving cream, any of that stuff. Any liquids you're bringing with you, put them in your checked luggage if they're larger than 3 ounces and in a Ziploc bag. That is my best advice. I always carry large Ziplocs for liquids or anything like that that could possibly leak or, kind of burst in your suitcase. So that also with your checked luggage, leave a little room for souvenirs and, get creative with packing. And we'll talk about clothing as well. Put identification inside and outside your checked luggage as well. Very important to do that. We've given you a tag, which I'll talk about in a minute. There's a luggage tag in your packet, and I will talk about that in the next slide. Carry-on bag, if you're picking a carry-on bag and a personal item, remember that those 2 items, you are going to be responsible to carry them around the airport and to get them on the bus and off the bus. The best part about this trip is it's one hotel. The best, because once you get to your hotel, your bags are delivered to your rooms for you, then you don't have to move around anymore. But when you're picking a carry-on bag, maybe a backpack, maybe a duffel bag or a nice light tote bag, rolling bags are fine, but do know that they're kind of cracking down on those because they don't all fit in the plane. So if you bring one, if you're not planning to check any luggage and just bringing a rolling carry-on, that's fine too. Just be aware that sometimes when you get to the plane, they are like, oh, we don't have room for that. We're going to have to check it at the door. And that's complimentary if they do that, if they take that from you. So just be aware of that. I use a backpack because I find it really easy to kind of carry around. And I also carry a tote bag with me. And then I throw my purse inside my tote bag. So here is that gray luggage tag. So we talked about this. This tag goes on your bag in Rapid City, not before you travel. This is not for the airline. This luggage tag is actually for the hotel transfers, for our porters. There's just a little rubbery cord on it, and it's really not very strong. So I would wait to put this on until you get to Rapid City, and then our porters will take your bag from the bus and bring it to your hotel room, right? So we need your name, nice and clear, just your name. We don't really need anything else because that's going to go from the bus to your hotel room and then back to the bus on the last day. So that's what that's for. And again, so you want to make sure you have your own identification on there. And for all our alumni, we use gray because I think that's a color that doesn't have any school attached to it too much. So clothing and what to pack. Let's talk about your clothing. This is always a good one. So I do suggest maybe a refillable bottle. We will, obviously, as you know, when you get on the airplane, you can't bring a full bottle of water, but you can bring an empty bottle if you want, or put it in your checked luggage. It will always supply water for you, so it's not a bad idea if you'd like to bring a refillable water bottle or a decanter, you can. Sunglasses, sunscreen, and swimsuit. If the hotel does have a pool, so if you want to use it, bring a swimsuit, medications, phone charger, hand sanitizer, comfortable walking shoes. Certainly, comfortable walking shoes are the best advice. I would bring your best pair of tennis shoes that you can walk around in and get a lot of steps in, or even bring that comfortable pair of sandals. Because sometimes if you're just walking around the hotel, you just want to have your sandals or flip-flops or Crocs or Birkenstocks or what have you, but it's nice to have that to walk around the hotel and sometimes just cool your feet off a little bit. Comfy casual clothing. We do not require anything dressy. If you want to go out and have a nice dinner somewhere, you're welcome to bring, a little sundress or something dressy. But really, honestly, Rapid City is casual, comfortable, easy going town. So I don't think you'll really need too much dress up. But again, that's up to you. Our tour does not have any, there's never a time you need to dress up. A light jacket for the evenings. When I was there, I felt like the evenings were a little bit, had a kind of a breeze, a cool breeze. So not a bad idea to have a light jacket or even a sweatshirt, maybe that zips up something in case it gets a little chilly in the evenings. And then again, those Ziplocs and, dirty laundry bag and maybe a small tote bag to travel with you on the bus each day. So what to carry with you with your carry-on, your personal item. This is always really, really a good bit of advice too. So again, you get a carry-on and a personal item. Something soft-sided is always great. I use a tote bag because in it, I like to have all my stuff under the seat in front of me off to the side. My backpack always goes up high, my tote bag down low, and in it is all my stuff. My phone charger, my earbuds, my book, snacks, hand sanitizer, sanitizing wipes, which I always kind of wipe down my area on the plane. It's just my thing. My little purse goes inside of there, and that way I kind of have everything really at my fingertips, right? So if I put all that in my carry-on bag and I need it, it's up above, but I have it down below, it's better. So it's always a good idea to have that personal item at your feet. If you're bringing a CPAP machine, absolutely fine to bring. I know there are other people traveling a lot this season that are using them. That is a complimentary carry-on that you can take with you as well. So certainly, kind of consider what you're bringing. And since I was talking about my purse, when I travel, I downsize my purse. And I do recommend that to you. Even gentlemen, take out all the stuff you don't need to bring with you, right? I downsize my purse. I have a little tiny like fold that I put my credit cards in and my cash and license and all that. And I just leave all the other stuff at home. Like, no, you don't need your Home Depot card and your Costco card and all your pictures and things. Leave the personal stuff at home and just bring what you need. And ladies, if you can downsize your purse and maybe you get one that goes around your head, around your shoulders, it's so easy to use on the trip itself. I usually just throw my purse right in my tote bag. And remember, going through security, right? There's TSA guidelines. So let's talk about that as well. Any liquids that you're bringing, for example, miniature hand sanitizer, eye drops, hand lotion, any little liquids that are under 3 ounces, they ask that you put them in 1 quart size Ziploc bag. So you put those all in there, and that way everything is together in a clear bag. And when it goes through security, it's easy to scan, and there's no question on what you have with you. So remember that liquid rule. I always have my certain things that I bring with me, and they're in my quart-size Ziploc bag. But then medications are a separate thing. So let's talk about this. Probably even more important, your medications. Because you have a connection. So I want to talk about medications really should be with you at all times and keep them in your carry-on bag. They do really prefer that they're in their prescription bottles, but if you can't do that, let's say you have really big prescription bottles, you can do a couple things. You can go to your pharmacy and ask for smaller bottles and just bring what you need with a little extra, or even take pictures of your prescriptions on the bottles and maybe take a little note card and make a list of what you're bringing, what you have. Because if you're going through security and say you have all your medication, let's say you have them in a weekly, organizer, they might question you and what's in there, that type of thing. And if you're prepared with a little note, it's 30 milligrams of this and 20 milligrams of that, and this is what I have. And it certainly doesn't hurt to be prepared. I have one little traveler, she's in her 90s. She's so organized. She has a little laminated card. It even has her blood type, what she's allergic to, her doctor's phone number, like any type of emergency. And she just keeps that in her zipper pouch. So that way, if somebody needed to know her history, it's there, right? But when you're going through security, it's important that you're prepared in case they ask. They probably won't, but you never know. And then of course, maybe a couple extra days worth with you as well. I know medications are always a personal thing, but I always recommend to keep them with you. Also with your carry-on bag, I would certainly recommend a change of clothing. What if my suitcase got delayed for 1 day? What would I need if my bag got delayed? It can happen. I'm not wishing that upon anybody, but if anybody who travels knows that that can happen. So perhaps if you're traveling with a spouse, even put 50-50 in each suitcase of your clothing, right? If you're traveling with a friend or by yourself, maybe just a change of clothing, undergarments, something to sleep in. Maybe the hotel would supply a toothbrush and toothpaste, but maybe a little travel size that as well. So keep that in mind when you're packing your carry-on. What would I need if my bag got delayed? Comfort on the plane. Now, I am still in that important travel information and helpful hints document. I'm on the second page now. If you open it up, it's the second paragraph down. It says comfort and jet lag and all that stuff. That's the paragraph I'm on. And a couple of things that I like to remind you. One is to dress comfortable on your fly day. You definitely want to be nice and comfy, cozy. South Dakota has a 2-hour time difference. Avoid caffeine and drink plenty of water. Reason for that is caffeine can cause dehydration. People don't realize it. When you're up in elevation, you can get cramping in your legs or headaches. It makes it a little bit uncomfortable on a travel day. So make sure that you avoid too much caffeine. And then I mentioned about disinfecting the area around you is fine if you want. Keep your space clear under the seat in front of you. If you can put your carry-on up and leave that leg room open, it's really helpful. So just kind of have everything you need on the travel day, be comfortable. Travel days that's all they are really. You're kind of coming and going. So certainly be comfortable on those days. The next paragraph is the right column on the second page at the top. It says Tour Director Bradford Wenzel. So I think he goes by Brad because that's what the tour director had said. She called him Brad, but he's a sweetheart. He has got a huge background in travel from his early days in the Holiday Inn Hotel to running his own company to driving buses. And then he and his wife moved to California. Sandy, she's also one of our tour guides. So she's great. They're a great team. But he actually went to ITMI, which is a school for professional training. So they are not employees of ours. They are contracted workers. So what we do is we hire them because they're professionals, right? So when I mention that, it's just to let you know that, they're not employed by us. They don't have a salary. They really work for tips. They're like in the service industry, like a waiter or a waitress would be, where they work mostly on tips, right? That's kind of how they work. Which then brings me to that next paragraph that says gratuities. So you're going to have two people taking care of you. Brad will be with you from the time you arrive at the airport until the day you leave. He's going to be with you the entire time, staying at your hotel with you, making all the announcements, letting you know where you're going, what you're doing, what time is breakfast, when are we, how long are we here, how long are we there? He's going to make all those announcements for you. And then you'll have your driver. And the driver and Brad will work together like a team. And they're going to be with you every day, taking you out, same driver, same bus. And the motor coaches, they are lovely. Matter of fact, my driver that I just had when I was there was probably one of the best I've ever had. They are proud to show off their city and all the wonderful treasures that it carries. So you'll see those two will work really well together. So the tipping recommended amount, it says in that paragraph, in that document, is $10 to $13 per person per day times 7 days. So you can kind of do the math. And then the driver is $5 to $7 per person per day. It's tipping stone at the end of the trip. There are 2 envelopes in your packet. And all I'm going to say is I feel like gratuities and tipping is up to. It is customary and, kind of how they get their main pay. But again, you tip what you feel comfortable tipping. My recommendation always is to go to the bank prior to going on the trip and kind of put your tipping amount in the envelope in some cash and then put it inside your packet. There is a spot inside your zipper packet. You might not know this, but under here, see my envelopes? They're hidden under here. That's where I hide mine. They're kind of tucked inside my zipper pouch so that when I put my cash inside there, I don't even have to think about it or worry about it. When it comes time to tip, I don't have to go to an ATM or try to get cash. I put it all in there. So again, end of the trip, it reflects the quality of work that they do. And again, up to you. Okay. So that's gratuities. You won't have to tip if we are providing a meal. You don't have to tip at any of the meals. You don't have to tip your in the hotel room unless you want to. Some people like to leave a little bit for the cleaning crew if you'd like. So the next paragraph talks about the hotel. We are staying 6 nights at the Rapid City DoubleTree by Hilton. This hotel could not be a better location. It is just lovely. It's a big, tall hotel. It was taken over by Hilton just a few years ago. It was a Holiday Inn originally, and Hilton kind of came in and gave it a new look. And so the lobby is big and grand, like you would imagine a DoubleTree. The hotels are clean, or the rooms are clean and comfortable, really, really nice, big fluffy pillows, really a lovely hotel. And it has a pool, nice, lovely lobby area, lots of sitting area in there, and certainly a great location. You can walk out the front of the hotel, and directly in front of the hotel is a park. And you can walk through this lovely little park. And once you cross the street, you are downtown Rapid City. Literally a 10-minute, 5-minute, 10-minute walk, right, to get from the park into the city. It is a great location. I feel like I have to remind you, when you think of Hilton, we think of a fancy schmancy, you know, really glass and brass hotel, but it's not. Rapid City's a small town, so it's a nice, comfortable, clean, not super fancy, but lovely hotel in the best location. And 6 nights, one place. So you unpack everything and then you just plant your roots at the hotel and certainly walk around and get comfortable. And don't be at all like hesitant to walk around outside the hotel. It's lovely. The park is lovely, and there's a little river there. It's really nice. And then the next paragraph at the top on the right side says meals. There are 10 meals included. You can find those meals listed on your daily itinerary. So I don't know if you've pulled the daily itinerary out of your packet, but there is the daily itinerary is kind of gives you the letters and when you have the meals included on this. So breakfast every day. When we were there, they gave us a voucher. So we had like all our, like 5 vouchers. So they might give you breakfast vouchers, but it was a big buffet. So in breakfast, usually like, okay, everybody, tomorrow breakfast starts at 6. We're leaving it, 8 or 8:30 or what have you. So you can eat any time that you want, right? Between the breakfast time. Dinners that we supply will all be a group dinner. If you have any dietary needs or anything special that you need Brad to know, please inform him. Hey, I am gluten-free, or I need this, or I need that. Make sure he is aware of that so that when they get to the restaurants, that he can remind the staff. Even if you put it in your reservation, it's still a good idea to never assume that they know that you can, let them know that you need these special dietary needs. The next paragraph says deluxe motor coach. So you'll be on probably a 55, 56 passenger bus. And forgive me because I'm not sure, I didn't print out the document. On your daily itinerary on the right column toward the bottom, it gives you Brad's name and a total number of passengers on the trip. That's on the itinerary. I'm not sure how many, but what's going to happen is he's going to rotate the seats every day. So every day you're going to sit in the same seat on the bus. I always bring my little tote bag on the bus, and in my tote bag has my, my jacket and my phone charger, things like that I might need, my medication, and I leave it on the seat. And a jacket, I just leave it on the seat. That way, if I need anything, I've got it with me, and I know where my seat is, right? So, but they'll rotate the seat. You'll have a lovely motor coach. I was just on the motor coach when I was there recently, and it was lovely, really comfortable and really nice to get around. But the best part about this trip is everything's pretty close. So you don't have any really long distance to drive on this trip. The trip is non-smoking. So the hotel and bus are non-smoking, but if anybody on the trip does smoke, there is ample time and designated smoking areas for anybody that does smoke on the trip. So temperature, this is the big one. We are Michiganders or Midwesterners, because I think most everybody's kind of up in this area, in the Midwest. Check the weather before you go, because we have clothing kind of for every type of weather, but I would, it says average of 92. I know it goes up and down, so I would certainly check the weather before you go and pack accordingly, right? Make sure that you have layers that you can take off and put back on. I think when I was here in August, because I have been here in August before, I wore a lot of tank tops or light cotton material, shorts, capris, comfortable. I have a really good pair of sandals that are actually more like a keen, like a boot sandal kind of thing. And those walk in are very comfortable. And I like to wear those because it keeps my feet cool. So just kind of make sure you check that weather before you go and pack accordingly. And then your name badges, we've given you some name badges, and they're custom with Michigan State University alumni information on them. And it'll be great because what we do on the trip is we let every school kind of proudly display their school. And so certainly please bring your come to represent, right? That's what we want you to do. Like I said, I even put my green shirt on. I told Regina I had to go put my green shirt on because I want to make sure I represent. So make sure that you proudly represent your alumni, and then of course wear that name badge. I do recommend that you put that on when you land put it on when you land in Rapid City so that Brad can see you and find you and he knows that you're part of the group, okay? And I would recommend that you wear them every day so everybody gets to know you. In the very back of the zipper pouch, if you haven't noticed this already, there is a zipper compartment back there. Really good for your room key or even your credit card, anything like that. If you don't want to take a purse, you can use this. It works really, really well to travel with. So wear those name badges proudly. Very next paragraph up in the top right corner in this inside of that folder says good traveler code. This is just our friendly reminder that travel is unpredictable and we want you to be flexible, have a good positive outlook. And if there's any type of hiccup on the trip, let Brad worry about it. There's always a plan B. Things always come into place. You are on vacation. We want you to enjoy the experience. This trip, we run it year after year after year. It's just a really well-oiled machine, so things should be very smooth for you. But as you know, it's travel, so definitely travel with an open mind. If any of you need a wheelchair, this is very important. I had a lady, I was traveling, or I was at the airport helping with this big group, and a lady had a wheelchair, didn't want a wheelchair, I said, you really, really should get one. She had a cane, and she reached out to me later and thanked me. She said, you were right. That really was easy. Travel days are exhausting. And if you feel like it's going to be a lot to get through the airport, maybe even on the way home, if you're not feeling well or you feel you need that assistance, ask for it. It is available when you check in. All you got to do is ask. It's certainly available to you. And then you can get through security quicker and easier. You just tip them a little bit and they'll help you get through the airport. So the last paragraph says travel money. So, and I kind of mentioned this earlier, clean out your wallet, really only bring what's necessary with you. My normal wallet is really big, but when I travel, I have this tiny little billfold that I use for things, and it's nice, and I just bring what's necessary. A combination of cash and credit card or debit card is always a good idea. It's really a personal thing. I don't carry a lot of cash, but if you love having a lot of cash on you, put it in the safe in the hotel room. You can kind of keep it there and take what you need. Any credit cards you bring, or if you bring your debit card, you certainly want to take a picture of them, front and back. That way, if by chance, God forbid, you lose your credit card or misplace it, you have the information on your phone that you can look up, okay? And some people like to call their credit card company just to let them know they're traveling. Again, that's up to you if you want. Funny thing, when I did this trip, the time before last, my credit card wouldn't charge, they wouldn't go through. I had to call them and tell them, yes, that's me. I'm in South Dakota, that's me. So, again, that's completely up to you, but definitely take a picture of front and back of your cards. And then it's not a bad idea to have an envelope for your receipts and things if you're as organized. I'm very OCD about my spending, so I like to have that all organized. Cell phones, very important also. Make sure if you're bringing a cell phone that you charge it every night. Because this is one thing people, if you don't charge your phone every night and you're on a trip like this, your battery will just get gobbled up so quickly because you're going to be taking a million pictures with it. If you're using a cell phone for pictures, certainly charge your phone every night. And then some motor coaches might have a USB outlet. I don't know if this your bus will or not, but if they do, then bring your charger with you on the bus every day so you can charge your phone or a portable charger, kind of like the picture I have up here in the center or to the right there. They're like little portable chargers. You charge the little block up, and then when you're on the bus, you can put your phone into it and charge up your phone. We just don't want your battery to die by like 2 o'clock and you're still taking pictures and, right, and your phone doesn't is all dead. So make sure you think about that when you travel. Cell phones are important. Plus, if people need to get a hold of you. On the very back of the folder, on the very back of the emergency or the information folder, in the bottom left corner, there's a checklist, a packing checklist, and then an emergency phone number to our office. That's a 24-hour number. So if anybody from your family says, or your neighbor or your friends are like, hey, how can we get a hold of you if there's an emergency or if I can't get you on your cell phone? Is there a number? This would be the number to share with them. And that way they can always reach you if necessary. And there is a duplicate copy of your air and hotel sheet as well. There's a document in there that says air and hotel. There's a duplicate copy to leave with family or a neighbor or whoever is kind of watching out for your home or your pets or what have you. Or you could take a picture of it, with your phone, the air and hotel information, and send that to whoever it is necessary that might want to know. Or you could just go off the grid and not tell anybody where you're going to be. Do I have any questions about any of that? Or Regina, is there anything you want to mention or anything I missed?
Uh, there's just, maybe we can address it once you've finished with your presentation.
Okay.
There was one slide that indicated for the temperature, it did say Sedona instead of,
Oh,
so
sorry.
I did look it up and it looked like the average temperatures are going to be between 75 and 88. So just
Thank
to
you.
mention.
I knew there was going to be a typo somewhere in this. I have looked through this 10 times and here I missed that one. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
That's another trip that we do with Michigan State. So, okay. So yeah, I've kind of gone through all the kind of nitty gritty. Let me show you a few pictures,
Okay.
talk a little bit about some things, and then we'll open up for questions before that. And I'm only giving you a snippet because I don't want to give too much away because it's so magical and so beautiful. But when you get to Mount Rushmore, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I got to take pictures. I got to take pictures. My biggest advice to you is wait till you get to this spot. This is the money shot. It's got all the beautiful flags of all the states and then Mount Rushmore. Because when you start walking in, you'll see it. You'll start clicking away. But get a little bit closer and you'll have this gorgeous spot right here to take pictures. Also, when you get into Mount Rushmore, and I'm going to give you a little secret, and you don't have to do this, but there is off to the right, there's a little like area where you can watch a film about how it was made. There are beautiful gift shops with some of the most amazing things you will find anywhere on the planet. It's so patriotic and amazing. But also, you might not know this, but I'm going to tell you, there is a walk that goes to the left. You go underneath Mount Rushmore. You're almost like standing below it, and you get some really close shots there. And then you can walk it's probably a good, maybe a half a mile walk. It's a long walk. If you go all the way around to the right side are all steps. So if you're challenged a little bit, don't follow all the people because if you keep going, there's going to be a lot of steps. So my advice, what I did this past time, I went halfway around because there's no steps on the left side, looked up, got some pictures, then I went back the same way and came back because if you keep going, because people are going to be doing this whole walkway and it's pretty challenging on that right side. So when you're looking at Mount Rushmore, there's like a pathway that goes up to the left around. You can get really close and then you can turn around and come back. And I promise you, you'll be like, thank God Tracy told us that because the rest of it is quite challenging, but it is an amazing experience. When you go to Crazy Horse Memorial, which is the same day, there is a spot. This is actually a spot in the visitor center where they have this statue of what it's eventually going to look like. And then right behind it is the real thing. So the visitor center is probably one of the most beautiful visitor centers you'll ever see. This is all run by the beautiful Lakota tribes in the Native American community. The government has not stepped in to help them. They have not wanted to take any money. They're doing this themselves. You are going to watch a film about how this was made, and I promise you it will move you. It is just an incredible story. And then you want to come here and maybe stand in front of this statue and get a picture. It's really a great spot. And sometimes when you go there, they're giving away free rocks. So they've been blowing up a lot lately with dynamite. And there's granite rocks and pieces of rocks, and they're kind of a fun little souvenir for your grandkids or something if you want to say this was from Crazy Horse, you know. So it's over here by this Indian, so or by Crazy Horse. So if you walk over here, if they talk about the free rocks, they are right there in the visitor center. Also in the visitor center is jewelry, artwork, Indian, museum collectibles. Just it's really a beautiful, beautiful visitor center. So walk through it, go inside, go all the way around. There's lots of gift shops, and of course, there's a cafe there as well. You're also going to visit Custer State Park. Have your cameras ready because this is really magnificent. These are called hoodoos, these spires, and you'll see a lot of rugged nature. And this is all like within less than 40 minutes from the hotel. Everything is so close. You are going on safari. The only thing I'm going to tell you about this is a little dusty. So, because these buffalo are literally, you could reach sometimes out of the Jeep and touch them. That's how they climb. It's really exciting. And the drivers are guides, so that you get in these big safari vehicles and it's open air. You can take pictures, and the buffaloes are not always all throughout the whole drive. Sometimes you're just looking for wildlife and looking at the scenery and really just taking it all in. It's really wonderful. And again, I'm only giving you a couple snippets. Devil's Tower is America's first national monument. So you get to see that as well. And then visit Deadwood. The town of Deadwood is like stepping back in the Old West. Literally, the town you've stepped back in time. There are little casinos here. So just letting you know, if you wanted to play a little Lady Luck, there's little casinos here. There are saloons. They talk about Jesse James and Calamity Jane and Wild Bill Hickok, and there's all kinds of action happening in this town. I don't want to give it away, but always be on the lookout for things going on in Deadwood and walk in some of these little saloons. It's just awesome. It is just such a cool place to go. There's nothing like it. You're also going to go to the Mammoth site and museum. And again, this is also filled with treasures. This is an archaeological dig. So as you walk around the Mammoth site, there will be people down there sometimes chiseling away. It's a current archaeological dig. They discovered this in the 70s. It was a watering hole for woolly mammoths and other creatures. So not, I mean, they all fell in. They all fell in and then they perished. And then now they found all these bones. So this is going to be a surprise. And it's in Hot Springs, which is just south of your hotel, a short distance. And yeah, this is a unique, unique visit. The Journey Museum is walking distance from your hotel. It's literally right next door to the hotel. Beautiful museum that takes you through time from when dinosaurs were here all the way up to modern day and teaches you about the beautiful Lakota tribes and the Native American tribes here. It's very strong there. And then also when the Westerners came in and kind of that whole how they all blended together. It's really fascinating because in South Dakota is where they have found some of the best dinosaur bones and preserved dinosaurs. So it's really fascinating, the history here. You're also going to see the Badlands. So on one of the days, we'll take you to the Badlands and you'll feel like you've left Earth. And I didn't put any pictures because I don't want to give any of it away, but have your cameras ready. It's a beautiful, unique, eerie almost experience. You're going to also visit Wall Drug. So that's right there as well. And you'll learn it's a big emporium and there's a big history story about that. And then you'll do Dances with Wolves movie set. So kind of, again, gives you a feel what it's like to do a movie set. And you're going to do a Chuck Wagon supper show. You're on the very last full day of touring. You're doing a historic train ride from Hill City to Keystone. Like I said, this trip has more unique things than anywhere. It's just awesome. You'll take the train ride. It's really beautiful. There's historic engines there. So like I'm a huge train buff. So when you go on the trains, it's just that nostalgic, old feel. And then we're also going to do an evening visit back at Mount Rushmore. And I don't want to tell you anything that happens when you go there at night, but it is magical. I promise you, you'll be moved, and it is amazing. So you're going to have a really, really wonderful experience. So let's go ahead and see if you guys have any questions for me so that I can answer them, or Regina, see if anybody's got any questions for me at all about the trip.
Okay, wonderful. Tracy, can you just take the
Yep.
PowerPoint
Yep.
down?
There we go.
Great. That
Perfect.
helps. Okay, there was one question or a comment. It says, I was just checking our return flight and the booking number for the return flight is not working. So it looks like Maria is the one that, Maria, do you want to unmute and maybe
Not
a
working,
little
meaning
bit
it.
more information?
That's all right. I didn't realize it was United. We're taking American out and United back.
Mhm.
Okay.
Did not see that it was United back. So
Okay. All
and
right.
Good.
got it worked out, got the seats figured out. We're good.
Okay.
Okay, good, good, good. All right, are there any other questions?
Nothing? Great.
Good.
Good. This is why we do these meetings. And trust me, when you get there, a lot of this will make sense and it'll all come together. And I'm excited for you all. This is one of my favorite places in the world to go. Anything
Okay,
else?
Dave and Linda, did you have a question?
You have a question?
Can you unmute?
You're muted.
Am
There you
I,
go.
There you
am
go.
some of us use a CPAP machine and some of the CPAP machines need distilled water. And I don't want to take distilled water on the plane. So what do you suggest I do?
Yeah, what I would suggest there, obviously you're right near town. The tour director will probably, matter of fact, let me give him a note for distilled water. I will tell you this though. Um, there is water now, and I know this for a fact, that is TSA approved, distilled water for CPAPs that you can carry through, but you have to contact maybe your pharmacy or search for it maybe on Amazon. The only reason I know this is because I pushed a lady through in a wheelchair and she had water bottles in her bag and they stopped us and she said, "Oh no, these are TSA approved distilled water bottles," and they were. So she brought just two, to get her started for the beginning of the trip. Another suggestion, maybe if you want to bring a bottle or two, if you put it in your checked luggage, put it in a Ziploc, get it nice and sealed in there, just to get started. And then once you get there, I'll make sure that Brad knows that we need some gallons of distilled water for the
Okay.
tour. But wouldn't be a bad idea to have a couple just to get you started.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, look up that water. It's just something new. I was surprised. It's about time. I think that's really important. So, yeah,
I have one more question.
sure.
In the beginning, you said that the carry-on should be soft-sided, but one of your slides showed a picture of luggage that was not soft-sided, that was
Yeah,
carry-on.
you can bring
Ours is not soft-sided, but I think it will meet those the
requirements.
requirements of the 22 by 14 by 9 because we've traveled internationally with it, and there's been
Oh, perfect. Yeah, you're fine. I just say soft-sided for the ease and comfort of loading and unloading. But if you've traveled with hard side, that's fine. I have one too, kind of smaller hard side rolling bag, and it
yes.
works really well. So yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be
Oh,
fine.
all right.
Question.
All right, any other questions? Okay, well, thank you so much, Tracy, for all the wonderful information, very thorough. And I think that is always helpful for people that are traveling. So thank you again. And if anyone has any questions, certainly reach out to me and I'll make sure we get those answered for you. So thank you again, Tracy. And now, if you like, we can do some introductions so you can all get to know one another. I'm going to start with Cindy. If you want to unmute and just say, what your connection is with Michigan State, and if you're traveling with someone else on the trip, and what you're looking forward to.
I can see my husband over there.
Yes.
I'm Cindy Raven, and my husband John is over there. We both graduated from our undergraduate degree from Michigan State. You know, we still go to Wharton and we have season tickets to football games. Mount Rushmore has always been on my bucket list, and we were just talking about it, and the brochure came in the mail. So it's, this is what we're supposed to do. So we're really looking forward to it and to meeting everyone else on the trip as well.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. And then I have, is it Kay and Dave?
Hello. Yeah, I'm
Hello.
Dave, obviously. We're 1970 graduates, MSU, both my wife and I. We have 3 children. They all graduated from state. One daughter works right on the corner of Trowbridge and Harrison with their PT clinic.
Oh.
So we're very tied to MSU. Get back whenever we can. Our grandchildren have already notified us that that's where they're going to go. So we're looking forward to this trip. I haven't been to the area, my wife has. So we're looking forward to seeing the area and meeting more Spartans.
Wonderful. Great. Thank you. Okay. And then I have Maria. Maria, do you want to unmute yourself?
Hello.
Hello.
I got my master's from Michigan State. We're transplants from Wisconsin. 3 of my 4 kids have graduated from Michigan State. My son is married to a Spartan. His oldest daughter, my oldest granddaughter, is just starting school this fall. So we kind of bleed green and white, even though I had to work at that blue place. So my husband is camera shy, but it was an area that we both talked about going to. So we're excited to get to see all of those things there.
Wonderful. Gosh, a lot of legacy families here. Wonderful. All right. And then we have Dave and Linda. Oh, sorry, you have to unmute.
So I graduated in 72, and I've rarely been back, unfortunately, but both of my kids graduated from there in the early 2000s.
What are you asking about? I'd be happy to help you.
Sorry about that. Alexa heard you.
His dad used to, Linda graduated from another fine school in Michigan. But Linda's dad went to South Dakota every year for 60 or 70 years to go pheasant hunting. We're not interested in pheasant hunting, but we'd like to see where kind of the area where he was.
Yeah, because of that, I've always wanted to go to South Dakota. And I was very attracted to this trip by the fact that you stay in one hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of getting beyond the ones where you've got to unpack every other night and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm looking forward to meeting you all, even though I'm a Wolverine. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. That's certainly okay. It's wonderful. Okay, wonderful. Thank you all for attending this. And as I mentioned, I will send out a link for this presentation. So if you need to take a look again, then you have that opportunity. I wish you wonderful time, wonderful travels. I've always wanted to go to this area and unfortunately haven't been there yet, but that's on my bucket list. So I think Premier World Discovery will take good care of you. So thanks again, and wishing you safe travels, and go green.
Go green, go white.
Go green, go white.
Nice meeting everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. Thanks, Tracy.